So I'm in the process of preparing for some potential live shows that could be happening this year, and in preparing for that I thought I would build a sort of pedal board that I can use, that I can take anywhere, and it'll have all the sort of main effects and sounds and tones that I want out of my guitar on the go without having to rely on any sort of computer simulations or any amps. So yeah, I thought it would be a good opportunity to play some more ambient guitar, sort of blend that into a lo-fi hip-hop beat, which you just heard in the introduction, and I'll break it all down for you in this video, as well as talking about a couple of the pedals that I used briefly for any guitar players, and going into the Ableton file as well to show you what I played on guitar, the pianos that I was using, the sounds that I was using, and all that stuff as well. And quickly before I start the breakdown, as a big thanks to DistroKid for sponsoring this video, I'll be giving 3 people their year's DistroKid subscription back to them. All you got to do to enter this competition is drop a like, drop a comment, be a subscriber at the channel, and as soon as we hit just 300 likes, I'll be picking 3 people at random to win a year's worth of DistroKid membership. So if you've already got it, I'll pay you for your year, or if you've not got it yet, I'll pay for your first year so you can get started on the music distribution journey. More about DistroKid a little bit later in the video, but for now, here is a breakdown of the track. So to kick things off, I always start off with the background atmosphere. So for this, I used the Busy Market Atmos from my last sample pack. So the first thing I recorded was the main guitar loop, which I made super ambient by adding some reverb and delay on there. And I'm effectively playing shell chords, so I'm playing the first and the third, so I'm playing the root note and the third, which determines whether it's a minor or major chord, and that sort of sets the tone. Next up was the second guitar layer, where I'm playing this time the full triads in a higher octave, so I'm just repeating the initial sort of shell chords I played in a higher octave with the triads. And in this section I also laid in a synth from Auras, which I used the pitch shift wheel to give it a little bit of movement. Following that I had quite a nice soundscape started, but I thought it could have done with a little bit more warmth in the low end, which is what a piano is perfect for. So I stacked 2 pianos on top of each other, the Lecco and the Ulfa Arnold's composer toolkit piano, and I played a progression that sort of followed the chords with a little bit of embellishment in the notes as well. So again, the bass, I was effectively playing the same thing as the first loop with a slightly different picking pattern. And then for the drums, I was using a kick from my last sample pack, which had quite a nice subby organic sound. It was the ML Kick 1 from Organic Lo-Fi Hip Hop Volume 1, and I layered that with one of the snares from that same pack as well. And then from here, I fill out the drums and mix up piano a little bit for a bit of a sort of calm middle section, which I will jump into Ableton to break down. But quickly before I carry on the breakdown, I just wanted to take a minute to talk about this week's sponsor, who is DistroKid. If you've seen any of my previous videos where I've talked about DistroKid, you'll know that I think very highly of them. They make it super easy for artists to get their music out there onto streaming platforms like Spotify, Apple Music, Tidal, Deezer, and everything else in between. Plus, if you're like me and you enjoy collaborating with other musicians, the DistroKid platform makes it so easy to do, and there's lots of features that make it the ideal platform for doing splits with other musicians. It allows you to add as many collaborators as you want to the track. You can change the splits at any time. You can keep the splits private, so if you've got like 3-4 people on the track, no one needs to know what everyone else is earning, just what they get. Their split is all they'll see. It does all of the admin for you, pays each account the royalties that they need, and it can do things like keep the royalties to one side until they've set up an account if they're new to it and they've not set up an account yet. And as always, DistroKid gives you 100% of the royalties, and there's no little percentage here and there that they take for any reason, which is crazy, as most of the distributors do take percentages now. So yeah, if you want to check out DistroKid, do click the link in the description down below for 7% off your first year's membership. Especially if you're not distributing your music yet, it's a platform to use and it is a very cost-effective way of doing it. But anyway, I will now go in and break down the pedal board real quick before I carry on the breakdown of the track. There's definitely something satisfying about having some physical hardware with dials and knobs and buttons that you can use in your setup in some way. And for me, even though some of these pedals can be emulated pretty well with software, or probably identically with software. It's just something about having the portability and the reliability of a pedal that doesn't have to be opened up as a VST. That is super satisfying for me anyway, as a guitar player. But yeah, I'm setting up my live rig, and this is the setup that I'm currently going to be running with. So to kick things off, I've got the Gig Rig Quartermaster, which is effectively just a pedal switcher. So it means that I can turn on or off different pedals in my chain without having to go through all of them and turn them off on the pedal, which means that you're going to potentially get some noise added to your chain, especially if you're running 5, 6, 7 plus pedals. Having a switcher is a much cleaner way because it completely cuts them out of the chain altogether. So that's a must have for my pedal board. I've got the Benz Defender compressor pedal, which is a sort of nice simple analog compressor pedal for the guitar, which is usually going to be first in my chain. So I've got that on number 1. I've got the Echoplex delay, which I use very subtly as just a sort of texture more than a delay for the most part. You can get a tap tempo in there if you want to use it in a more sort of delay heavy mode, but I use it more for the sort of added texture and warmth with a very short low delay, low sustain noise on the end. I've then got the Fairfield Circuitry Overdrive, which is what was given my guitar track in the solo, the sort of grungy lead. I've got the Blue Sky by Strymon. I did have the Big Sky, but I like the simplicity of the Blue Sky. It's got a great sort of shimmer mode, and it's nice that you can carve away the lows and highs to your taste and sort of switch between the reverb types pretty easily. And then finally, I didn't actually use this for this video, but I've got the Iridium by Strymon again for the amp and cab simulation. I've not had much chance to use it yet, but I got it because I wasn't a major fan of the UA Dream. I don't know why, I just wasn't quite getting it for me. So I'm going to try this, and hopefully it sort of fills the gap of amp and cab simulation so I can have a pedal board rig on the road. And then of course I've got my clean power hidden underneath. And yeah, that's pretty much it. So onto the Ableton breakdown. So to finish things off, I sort of got up to like here, at which point the drums start to sort of fade out a little bit. We've got this sort of interlude. So in terms of what I did here, I've added, I've taken the piano, which as I said in the intro was the Ulf Arnold's Felt Grand and Lecco. So I've taken that and I've just taken off some of the embellished notes. So that's that one, and this is the first one. A couple of little embellished notes. And the thing I find is when you've got a fairly short loop with some prominent notes, a little riff or melody, that loops and loops and loops, it can start to get repetitive. So just cutting those out and keeping the basic chords. The basic chords blend into the track, so you're not drawing attention to these sort of additional notes. So that blends nicely with the rest of the track. I also bring in the sort of pitch thing again, which is Aura's Mirage with a layer from Stratus. This is the one that was in the intro with the pitch bend. So this has got, yeah, Mirage from Slate & Ash Auras. And we've also got a patch from the Synth Matrix Swarms from Ulf Arnold's Stratus. And then with that, I've also got another Mirage patch. This one is playing chords. So I'm cutting the lows. I've got Portal, which is giving the sort of choppy feel, and Soothe just to maintain some of the resonance in there as well. And that pretty much sums up the instrument bus. And of course we've got the bass, which again, just DI, there's no effects on there, other than a bit of Soothe with side chaining and maintaining some of the resonance. And then I've layered in some of the acapellas from Organic Lo-Fi Hip Hop Volume 1. Often I pitch shift them, blend them together, fade them together just to make it more interesting. And I stack that with the ear, Elzar Glotman's sort of closed mouth patch in the sample pack from Spitfire Audio. And then that's it. I've used a couple of different drum loops, which come in sort of in the last section. This is only really like an idea sketch for the video. If I was to release it as a track, I'd probably refine it, make it a bit more interesting in some elements, etc. So for the drums, I just wanted to use some loops I'd already recorded, some little percussive stuff that I'd recorded, some hi-hat loops from The Count, a little snare from my last sample pack, some brush clock samples, and a little bit of Foley loopage that I've recorded in the past. So that's it. So yeah, that is the track. Let me know in the comments down below what you thought of it. Would love to hear some feedback. Is there anything that you want to see more of? I'm going to be making some more out there videos from my usual content in the new year. I'm trying to experiment more with my cinematography a little bit and different sounds. So maybe there'll be more electronica stuff, which I could potentially do on a different channel if people didn't want to see it here, but would love to know what your feedback is on that in the comments down below. If you've got a minute to write something. But yeah, thank you for watching. Make sure to take part in the competition if you want to win a DistroKid Years membership. But yeah, thanks for watching and catch you next time.